Hi everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to do a crayon and paint etching. We will be using a heavy drawing paper or mixed media paper, a pencil, black Sharpie, crayon, mechanical pencils, and black tempera paint. Let's begin the drawing. Draw a simple design, but give it plenty of detail in order to have enough color and make it interesting. Now that your drawing is complete, you will be using a black Sharpie. Begin by using the black Sharpie to go over your pencil lines. You will need to go over the lines twice to make it thick enough to create a separation between the spaces where the different colors meet. The thick black Sharpie line will let you know when you have come to the border of another color and it's time to change your etching pattern. Wherever you draw with your Sharpie, that area will not have color and it will be part of your black outline. Now let's begin using crayons. I like to decide what colors I'll be using before I begin, but that is really up to you. I have found that the brighter the color, the more colorful the final product will look. I have chosen red and white for my lighthouse. I'll begin with red because it will be easier to demonstrate how to use the color when applying. You must apply a very thick layer of crayons on the paper. The reason is because the entire paper must be covered in the wax of the crayon. Otherwise, you will not be able to etch it out when you are done. If you see any white peeking through your colors, add another layer of crayon. Continuing layering throughout the process, you'll become better at spotting those stubborn little white spots as you move further along. I marked out the area that I want in red in order to avoid any confusion. Now let's begin with the white. White is a very tricky color because when you are coloring over a light or white paper, you cannot really tell if you have enough crayon on it to protect the paper from the paint. Wherever you want white to show, you must use a white crayon. You cannot leave it blank because it is the wax from the crayon that prevent the paper from becoming black from the paint. I will usually color 2 or 3 layers of white in the area I want white to show. As you move on to other colors, try blending different colors together to create different gradient color tones. The more colors you add, the more interesting and colorful your etching will be. But remember to layer your crayons thickly to resist the paint you will be applying onto your colors, which will enable you to etch out beautiful patterns showing the colors underneath. Once your coloring is complete, it is time to apply the black tempera paint. Your coloring should feel like a nice waxy finish. This is what's going to help resist the paint. Take your black tempera paint and brush it onto the paper. I like to pour the paint directly onto the paper. Cover the entire paper in paint. Try to give it a nice even layer. Add more paint if you need to. Once you're done, allow it enough time to completely dry. Before I start etching patterns onto my painting, I like to get a paper and try some different patterns. You could design so many unique patterns. The idea is to create as many unique and interesting patterns as possible. The paint is completely dry now, and I can begin to etch out patterns. I like to use an old mechanical pencil with no lead because it's easier to hold and has a thin tip. You could also use a wood skewer stick, but they tend to get dull and break. Begin with a pattern and change the pattern when you reach a different color. When you reach an edge that is black and you cannot scratch it, it is because you've come to an area that was outlined by the Sharpie. This is a good indication that another color is going to begin. Once you have completed, check to see if you haven't left any gaps. Your final product should be a colorful artwork with beautiful patterns. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on crayon and paint etching.